Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoilery discussion for Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. As I said, this video will have spoilers in it, so if you haven't read this book, go ahead and check out my spoiler-free review, which will be linked on the screen. So like I said in my review, I really feel like this series could have been 4 books instead of 3. This book is huge, so I really feel like this book could have been split into 2 with additional information in both, and it would have flowed better, it would have made more sense, and it wouldn't have felt rushed at the end. I really feel like the ending was super rushed, and everything was kind of thrown at the end, and the things that could be were wrapped up in a pretty bow, and the things that couldn't be weren't wrapped up. And I'm fine with the war not being over. I really actually like that element. Like, the battle's never won, the war's never over, there's a bigger thing to worry about, but I would have liked more hints at that before this book. Like, I would have liked that to be more of a thing in the background kind of thing, and for us to know more about it, even if we don't see the conclusion of it. Like, I don't need to see the conclusion of it. That's not my complaint. My complaint is I would have liked to have known more about it before it's like, alright, now we have, now on to the next one, you know? Like, especially with, I think her name's Eliza. I'm forgetting if that's her name. Eliza, I think. But with her, I would have liked her to either be in the second book, or again, be split into more books so that you get her in the third book and the fourth book, and it's kind of more spread out. Like, all of that mythology and stuff, I want to know more about. I want to know more about the Stellians. I want to know more about all the different worlds. Like, those chapters when we got the kind of, like, here's all, like, I think they're the Farseers or whatever, like, or Fairs, I forget what they're called. But, like, when you got to see all of that, like, them going between worlds and all of that backstory, I really loved that. But I wanted more. I wanted to know more about it. I wanted to know more than these just little snippets that we got, especially since there's not supposed to be any more within this world with that. I would have liked more of that. I don't need to see the final battle. Again, that's not what I'm saying. I don't need that wrapped up. I just need to know more about it before it's like, oh wait, here's this big, huge thing that's bigger than this whole series. Bye! So while a lot of the plot elements weren't really fleshed out, I do feel like a lot of the character stuff got wrapped up too easily. You know, like in that final bit, I always kind of hate when I see the main villain die and then you have like 100 or 150 pages left of the book. I'm just like, what is going to happen now? And I feel like it gives the authors too much time to wrap everything up really perfectly. And I feel like they got that for the most part. Like, yes, Akiva and Karoo have to be separated. They each have their own thing to do. That's life, obviously. But it's still like, they're going to get to be together in the end. Everything's fine. Everyone's fine. Etc., etc. And it's just like, damn it! And there was such hope that Laini Taylor was going to go there. So Ziri is, like, obviously one of my faves, like one of my fave babies ever. So when you see him die, you read him die, his soul evanesces, and it's at the moment when his, like, real body is discovered and shown to all the people on Earth, and, like, it's so sad. I was crying. Like, I never cry in books, like, very, very rarely, because most books don't take it there, and, like, whatever. So I don't cry that often. I was crying because I was like, he's gone. Like, he's gone for sure. So that twist, I guess, is fine. But at the same time, I'm like, as soon as the thing popped up, I was like, he's not gone. And that's kind of crap. Like, I don't like when characters, like, yes, this whole series is about resurrections. I get it. You know, like, that's a thing. But, like, you could have just not. Like, you could have made it so everything didn't work out. And, like, we have a case, again, of a lot of the characters pairing off that are, like, all straight. I'll get to the one that's not in a second. And it's just kind of like, why, though? Like, I do appreciate that we have his sister, Akiva's sister, Laraz, I think her name is. She is, in text, asexual. In text. Like, completely. Awesome. Wonderful. But a lot of people don't even read into that and don't see that, even though she blatantly says it in canon, because she gets paired up with Ziri. And it's really annoying. And also, I'm just kind of like, why though? Like, why does that have to happen? Like, obviously she can have romantic relationships. That's not what I'm saying. Like, I know that, obviously. I'm an asexual that's in a romantic relationship. But, like, she doesn't need to be. Like, and the whole, I just think it just gives this, like, weird message of, like, I don't know, like, she's softening, and so she gets to be in a romantic relationship even though she never wanted this, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I ship it still, like, a little bit, but it's one of those things that, like, it doesn't have to happen. Like, I'm just really sick of everyone getting paired off in books. In conclusions, especially. Like, I read Clockwork Princess, and, like, that had a very similar wrapping up of everyone's threads, and I read this, hoping that it would actually take it there and destroy my heart, and it didn't quite, because everyone's stuff got wrapped up really perfectly and easily. But then we had that whole element of, like, the plot not getting as much as I wanted to. Again, I don't need it to be wrapped up completely. I don't need to see the final battle. I don't. I just want to know more. And that would have given us more time for these character threads to be wrapped up slowly instead of like, and now everyone's fine. Yay. Also, I didn't ship Karou and Akiva as much as I have in previous books. I don't know why that is, but for some reason I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't getting that like tug at your heartstrings. Like the first book, I got that. The few scenes they were together in the second book, I got that. But in this book I just was like, meh. I don't know if it was like, oh, it's the last book and they're gonna end up together, so whatever. And I just didn't feel the pull anymore for them. But all their scenes, while really great, were just like, that's fine, you know? So my shipper heart wasn't quite shipping it as much anymore, which makes me really sad because I really shipped them very hard in the first book and the second book. So I was happy to see, not only do we have a canon asexual character, but we also have a canon ladies living ladies relationship. But it got mentioned in like the very, last chapter, and it's just like their eyes meet and it's like, well, we're together now, like Eliza and the queen whose name I'm forgetting. Like, I'm really bad with character names, obviously. But I'm just kind of like, you threw that in the last like 50, maybe 100 pages if we're lucky of the book, and you don't get to see them ever again, and you don't get to see any romantic anything with them, and you don't get to see anything. Can we not? Like, why couldn't you include that earlier? Why couldn't you include an LGBTQ plus relationship earlier? Like, you have all of these straight relationships, like, and this is a group of non-human people that shouldn't have the same kind of, like, I don't know, boundaries or whatever you want to call it. So it's just like, why couldn't this just be like a regular thing mentioned more? You know? It's just something I'm kind of sick of. I mean, I've been sick of it for a while, but it's like, couldn't we have had them earlier? Couldn't we have had another kind of relationship earlier? If we had 4 books, we could have had them in the 3rd book and then see them together in the 4th, you know? So many things would have been made better by having 4 books in the series. Again, I don't want to bitch about this completely. It's just I've waited, I think, a little too long to review this, so now I'm only remembering the things that I didn't like, but I really liked this. I flew through it. It's still a really good conclusion. I really liked the whole element at the beginning when Ziri has to be the White Wolf and how he has to like command, and learning more about like Akiva's powers as like a Stellian and like all that stuff. So cool. The going between worlds. So cool. I've heard that The Strange the Dreamer is taking place in one of those alternate world kind of things. So I think the books that she continues to write will take place within these other worlds, and you won't get these characters or anything crossing over into them, I doubt, but you'll hear, you know, that about maybe like Seraphim or something, so that's cool. But I just wanted more out of this, as I tend to with every YA fantasy finale. Listen, don't be mad at me. I'm upset that this happens to me, okay? No one is more hurt by this than I am. Trust me. I want to love finales. I want to. I hope every time I read one that it's gonna blow me away. And I just get disappointed. I really need to just give up on, like, finding my perfect YA fantasy conclusion, because apparently it's never gonna happen. It just doesn't happen. I have really good adult fantasy series conclusions that I really love, but the YA ones just never quite take it there. You could have left Ziri dead. I would have been very upset, but that upset is what makes me happier. It's more realistic. All the main characters, like, survived in the war, you know? No. But I do love Laini Taylor's writing. I will continue to read everything that she puts out. I love the twist on this and the borderline Christian mythology that she twisted into a unique fantasy take, and her characters are amazing, and it's so magical and atmospheric, and I adore her writing, and I'll be picking up everything by her forever. So comment down below and let me know what you thought of Dreams of Gods and Monsters. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye!